Good afternoon. Today is Monday, November the 17th. It's about 1:13 p.m. and I am starting a series of story time with Saima on this YouTube channel that I had created many years ago, but just didn't get around to making some new post. And today I am thinking of all the little children who like listening to stories, but also to all the adults young at heart who likes to listen and watch their old childhood stories. So today's first story I'm going to read is Sleeping Beauty. So here goes the story. Long ago, a king and queen lived in a magical castle where they had everything they could possibly want except a baby. Year after year, the queen stitched and sewed tiny clothes, and the king spent long afternoons in his palace workshop making beautiful toys. But still, there was no baby. One day, while the queen sat knitting by the lake, a bright green frog hopped, skipped, and jumped right onto her lap. "You shall have a baby, your majesty," said the frog, and with that he bowed and leapt back into the lake. So, you want to see the little froggy? Here is the little froggy in the picture and in the book. True to the frog's word, the queen gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. "Let's call her Rose," the queen said happily. The king was so pleased. He planned a great feast to celebrate. He asked 7 fairies to be Rose's fairy godmothers. On the night of the feast, they all flew into the castle, each clasping a glittering golden wand. "Let the feast begin," announced the queen, and merry music filled the great hall. What is a feast? Do any of you know what a feast is? Feast is a big party with lots of food and dancing and fun stuff in it. The tables were piled high with scrumptious food, and everyone ate off silver plates. When no one could manage another bite, the fairies gathered before the king and queen. "We have some wishes for Princess Rose," said Snowdrop, the first fairy, with a courtesy. Do you kids know what a courtesy is? Or do you adults know what a courtesy is? If you do, raise up your hands and do a courtesy. She fluttered her fairy fingers. "Rose will be utterly beautiful." So, this was a present for the first fairy. She wanted Rose to be utterly beautiful. Then Suckle, that's the second fairy, waved her wand and she said, "The baby Rose will be as clever as the king." The third fairy, Willow, floated over to the child and she said, "The baby will be graceful and she'll dance to perfection," added the fourth fairy, Bluebell. Blossom and Buttercup wished that Rose would play music like an angel and sing like a nightingale. Everyone wondered what Jasmine, the seventh and the wisest fairy, would wish for. And Jasmine hovered over the cradle. A blast of icy air swept into the room. "Haven't you forgotten someone?" a chilling voice rang out. Suddenly, the mean fairy Nightshade appeared in a whirlwind of foul green smoke. So, this is the mean fairy Nightshade wearing black dress. How dare you not invite me? She roared. We didn't mean to, Nightshade, the king stammered. We just forgot you. Forgot me? Nightshade screamed. So fiercely the flames in the fireplace went out. Well, you won't forget this. She flicked her cloak and marched up to the cradle. Now, my pretty, she purred, lifting a golden curl with a bouncy, bony finger. What shall I wish for you? Everyone in the palace held their breath. Nightshade leaned down into the cradle. On your 16th birthday, she snarled, you will prick your finger on a spinning wheel and die. Die? Oh my goodness, that's a really bad wish. From a fairy to a princess. No. Or to any baby. No, cried the queen. But Nightshade cackled gleefully and disappeared with a bang. I still have my wish, said Jasmine softly. I can't undo that wicked spell, but I can try to change it. You will prick your finger, little Rose, Jasmine began, but you won't die. You and everyone else in the castle will fall into a deep sleep. Only a kiss from your true love will break the spell. Burn every spinning wheel in the land at once, roared the king. Rose must never ever see one. That night, the flames from the enormous bonfire could be seen for miles. They licked the dark sky like serpent's tongue. The years passed, and Rose turned into a delightful girl. So the baby Rose is all grown up now. She danced, sang, and played music as wonderfully as the fairies had wished. She was clever enough to beat the king at chess. Ha! Checkmate! She loved playing hide and seek in the castle gardens, and secretly she liked to sketch the prince of her dreams. On her 16th birthday, the king and queen gave a huge ball for Rose. She swirled and twirled in a dazzling gown, and every prince fell in love with her. You know what a ball is? Again, it's like a big party with dance and music and food in it. When the feasting was nearly over, Rose pleaded for a game. Hide and seek, she shouted and dashed off into the castle. She raced up a twisting staircase that she had never seen before. Soft singing floated down the stairs. In a trance, Rose followed the music, and at the top of the stairs, she discovered a heavy iron door. Oh, a heavy iron door. Inside, an old woman sat hunched over a spinning wheel. Come and see, my pretty, she said, beckoning Rose with a bony finger. So, this is the spinning wheel. See the old lady? Let's see, say, oh. Everyone looks right. Okay. So there's the spinning wheel with the old lady at it. And in olden days, people used to use spinning wheels to make cloths that make our clothing from. I am spinning, my dear, croaked the old woman. May I try? Said Rose, touching the silky thread. Of course, said the old woman, taking her hand. At once Rose snapped out of the trance. Oh, she cried as she pricked her finger. Rose fell to the floor. The old woman cackled and disappeared in a whirlwind of foul green smoke. I wonder if that old woman was that like old witch that had put that bad spell on her. Let's see. In the same instant, everyone in the castle fell asleep. The king dozed off with a spoon in his hand, and the court jester froze mid leap. All the clocks stopped. The place was silent and still, except for the rose bushes. They spread like ivy, covering everything in their path. They grew so quickly that soon the entire castle was covered in thick roots and sharp thorns. Wow, a castle covered with roses and rose branches. For 100 years, the castle stayed hidden. Only the tops of the tower showed through the bushes. Princes from far and wide heard about the spell. That's the magic spell the wicked witch had cast on this princess and this castle. They came in their hundreds to try to rescue the princess known as Sleeping Beauty. But the thorns cut their skin and the roots wrapped around their legs like snakes until they all gave up. One day, a brave prince named Florine rode by. He had dreamed of Sleeping Beauty and was determined to find her. He pulled out his sword with a flourish and began to fight his way through the spiky bushes. That's the spiky rose bushes. They have thorn in it and all the stuff. As Florine's sword touched a branch, each sharp thorn became a sweet smelling rose. A path cleared before him. He followed its twists and turns until he reached the topmost turret where Sleeping Beauty lay. I don't know what a turret is. Is it Turret? Is it like a tower or something? Let's see. Florine's heart fluttered like a bird when he saw her. She was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Taking her hand, he kissed her soft lips. Her eyes flickered open, and Rose found herself face to face with the prince of her dreams. You are the prince I drew, she cried. Prince Florine, here to rescue you, he announced and scooped her up. And as they walked through tunnels of roses, everyone else in the castle began to wake up. The king fell into his pudding with an enormous splash, and the court jester landed with an unexpected bump. Rose and Florine entered the great hall. My Rose, cried the queen, and her true love added the king. Rose and Florine were married the next day, and they lived happily ever after, and the prince always lost at the chess to the princess Rose. So this is it. This is the story for today. So hope you enjoyed this story. And if you have any questions about this story, send me in the comment box.